So today we got the deposition of Detective Danny Polo, who was the guy that went on the stand last week and had the shiesty mask on. There's a few crazy details in this deposition that the public isn't really talking about, so stay tuned, hit subscribe right now. Let's get right into this, boys. So we got deposition of Detective Danny Polo, the undercover guy. The other day we were given a report that was dated April 6, 2022, an unfinished report of the investigation steps taken during the documentation of Jamel Demons and his associates as criminal gang members. When do you plan on finishing your investigation? When I'm done reviewing everything I can review, and when is that going to be? I don't know, sir. If you guys beat me to trial, then I'll never be able to finish it completely. Phone. The phone is easier because of Celebrate, the program that lets you review the phone, okay? Messages, photographs, and web browser history. Approximately how many messages did you receive a ballpark? I can't ballpark it. There's thousands of photographs. What about browser history? I went through the whole browser history. Those are the easiest sections to go through. And that was represented to be whose phone? Jamel Demons. Do you have personal knowledge that it is his phone? Based off what I've seen in the photos, it's his. You're basing it on the photos where he's reportedly in the photos of himself. Anyone can send you a picture of yourself, but you know, like photographs that you took where it says you can see where the photograph came from the device. Is Jamel Demons a member of a criminal gang? I believe so, sir. And you're basing that on what? Everything we have discussed in previous depositions. Sadly, none of these depositions are on here. For some reason, it's only this one. I wouldn't say the most important, but the most damning for him would be the fact that he's communicating with 4 GShine members, the 4 GShine members who brought him into this lineup. The phone number he saved as Herc, who was identified as Jaquan Burton. Those are the most important to showing his GShine affiliation because it's the people that brought him in. He has all black and gray tattoos. Everything on his body is colored black and gray except for the use of the color red. He has, I believe, Heaven Sent on his face and red. And he has YNW for life tattoo on his arm. YNW, yeah, his music collective, and the letter L in red. One of the highest ranking and respected members of Gangster Killer Bloods is white. What are we talking about? Really? Yes. What's his name? Jacob Cherry. Jacob Cherry. He provided an interview that he did with 100K Track. So Jacob Cherry was the fat guy. Sorry, he's not fat. The really good looking guy. That's the one with the Australian accent. He's from Boston. Prosecutor and the detective both said he's from Boston. Miss Bradley's the prosecutor, by the way, for context. Miss Liberty is Melly's lawyer, the female one. He's an admitted gang member. According to information we have received from informants within the Blood organization, he's currently in the position as a treasurer. He's bringing in a lot of money for GShine right now because his YouTube page brings in lots of money. This motherfucker right here from Night at the Museum. Oh, this is about 1090 Jake. Why is he being brought up? I'm skipping past this. I don't want 1090 Jake getting mad at me. Is YNW Sakchaser a gang member? Yes, he was. Do you know what gang he was part of? He was repping Blood. Anthony Williams was the Blood. That's what he was repping. Okay. Christopher Thomas, the other descendant, he was a Blood. He was representing himself to the be a Blood. Yes. I haven't done additional digging into this. Do you believe he committed any act in furtherance of the criminal gang Bloods? I believe that the homicide is an act of furtherance of. How? Homicide is one of the most common acts that a criminal gang member has to commit to gain status. Stop right there. Did Melly have a status in the Bloods prior to this homicide? They were giving him status. Okay. It would give him more status just by killing 2 members of the Bloods. It would have given more status by killing anyone, as long as it wasn't someone within his lineup and someone that actually had some respect. Do you have any evidence that these 2 alleged victims were doing anything against Bloods? They were doing something against Melly. Uh-oh. Here we go. What? Threatening him, extorting him. Let's go with threatening. What evidence do you have? What evidence do you have that either Anthony Williams or Christopher Thomas was threatening Melly? It's on his phone. On the phone downloads messages. Messages from Sakchaser to Melly asking him for money, threatening to beat him up, threatening to do violence upon him and his mother, threatening to kill his mother. People have been talking about this situation for years, so this is no surprise to me, but it's kind of crazy to see that this detective is pointing it out that it was on his phone. I wish we could see the exact messages though. You're saying Williams attempted to send a message that he was going to kill his mother. That he wanted money. Yes. Anything else? Money and threats of violence against him and his family. Well, other than the threats to his mother, anyone else in his family? No, not that I recall. So basically, Williams, you believe, threatened to kill his mother, and Williams wanted money from Melly. Yes. Okay. Do you know why he wanted money? He told Melly, don't forget I'm the CEO. We are the CEO, him and Juvie. You need to give us what we deserve. He basically told him, it doesn't matter. You're the first one that blew up. You're the first one that's making this money. You have to give us what is ours. They felt entitled to Jamel Demons' money. Holy shit. Well, obviously that's gonna raise some issues. Okay, if this is true, a little insane of a perspective. Like, what the fuck was Sakchaser thinking sending this message? Not really how life works. Okay, so he never told him the exact amount of money he thought he should have. He doesn't mention it in the messages. What about Christopher Thomas? Did he make any threats? I don't recall. I just know when Anthony was talking to him in those messages, he referred to and spoke as we, not as I. What else makes you believe that these homicides were to benefit the gang of Bloods? The homicide themselves. Well, you said the homicide itself, the money and the status, right? So you can't just go around threatening Blood gang members. That's one of the biggest ways of getting out. If you're a Blood gang member and you're getting disrespected, it's your duty to act. If you don't act, you're going to get violated yourself. There's actually a Blood saying under the UBN, it's C food, eat food, or B food. Jesus. That's intense. Who's been greenlit, right? Someone who's been marked for death. Then you eat the food and you kill the person. And if you don't do that, then you are the food. Stop right there. Did you see any messages indicating that the food was Williams and Thomas? No. I'm speaking about the blood gang in general. If Corey King, the Godfather, head of GShine, disrespected Melly, Melly would need a lot of convincing to be authorized to kill the leader of the organization. But let's just say regular members. It depends. Williams or Christopher Thomas were foot soldiers. I don't believe Mr. Williams or Mr. Thomas were members of the lineup or his set. You just said they were repping blood though. I guess maybe they were in a different thing. I have no idea what rank they were in, whatever blood set they claimed. I just know they were parts of different blood sets. Oh, there you go. If Mr. Williams and Mr. Thomas had a rank of a Scary or higher, would the person who killed them need permission from the higher-ups to get permission to kill them? It depends on what the totality of the circumstances. There's difference in policies and procedures for the different organizations. Did you find anything to mitigate if Melly was a member of the gang Bloods to allow him to kill these two individuals? The fact that Melly hasn't been greenlit as of now is pretty indicative that they didn't arise to that level. So greenlit means that Melly wasn't greenlit to be killed by someone else in the Bloods organization. How do you know he wasn't greenlit? How do you know? Something would have happened to him by now. He's been in custody for 3 years now. Yes, something would have happened by now. Do you know if there are Bloods in the Broward County Jail? Yes. Do you know who they are? Some of them. Who? By name? Yes. Holy shit. This detective basically just said if Melly killed these guys and he wasn't given permission to do so, that something would have happened to him by now in jail if he did it without permission. I don't know if I believe that gang shit like this was related to these murders. I think it was just a big fight between best friends. Had any contact with Melly whatsoever, could have contact with Melly. I'd have to see the confinement status. It's all based off that. Right. Do you know the confinement status of Melly over the last 3 years at jail? On the 8th floor most of the time. Do you have any information that Melly went to his higher ups either before he allegedly participated in these murders? Not before. After, yes. What is it? And the messages between him, I forgot if it's Gino or Stretch. I think it was Gino. So apparently Gino said, I went through what you're going through. It hurts, but it's like when you're going to the next level, the people you love die. It's so they can project you better from the sky. Who's that from? That's from Gino. The guardian angels or blood members? That's a silly question. Since these murders were okayed, it seems to be that he's offering condolences. That was at 5 p.m. on the day of the murder, so like 12 to 14 hours after the murders. Herc or Jaquan Burton said, I'm sorry for your loss. Shit's hard for you right now, but keep your head up. I wish I could have been there to guide you. If it's anything you need, bro, let me know. Sending condolences and saying, I wish you would have called me before you did this so I could guide you. Not so I could be there for you, guide you. You could give guidance during commissions of criminal acts. So you're interpreting the term, I wish I could have been there to guide you, as instruction is that I could have helped you kill these people in a different way. What? I don't know if that's what that guy's saying. I could guide you? I think he's just saying he could have helped him in the situation. You're saying it's an offer to help him commit murder in a better way, to not get caught. I don't know if I believe that, dude. Would you also have to get permission from your higher ups if you were going to extort another gang member? I'm sorry? You said he was being extorted, that Jamel was being extorted by Anthony Williams, correct? It appears that Anthony Williams was threatening to commit violence upon Jamel because Jamel was not giving Sack and Juvie the money that they felt entitled to. So would you have to get permission to extort another blood member? They were all members of different sets. Doesn't really answer the question. She asked it again. He says not necessarily. You don't know if Sack and Juvie were members of GShine, do you? I don't know if they were members of GShine. She asked the same question. He says not necessarily. He was being threatened by them. Is there some type of protocol that has to be followed before I commit a crime against another blood gang member? There is blood on blood gang violence. There is blood on crib gang violence. It does not matter. Would you answer my question? She's getting annoyed. I'm just saying, I think my question was really clear. My answer is, I don't believe that Melly and Sakchaser and Juvie were part of the same blood set. But you don't know that, do you? I just don't believe it. I don't believe anyone else that I looked at has fallen under that. There's a group text message between Melly and other GShine members in that lineup that don't include Sakchaser, Cortland, or Juvie, but they were all living together. So is there a chance that they all live in the same house? They were all communicating face to face in the same house. You're trying to say that, oh, because there's not text messages between Sack and Melly, that there's no way Sack can be part of Melly's GShine set, but you're not taking into consideration that they live together. No, the rationale I'm just using is just common sense rationale. This is an assumption that you're making. No, it's just common sense. Has, in your opinion, Melly authorized any communication for the commission of a crime? Yes. If you read his phone, there's narcotics trafficking, firearms violations, and authorizing the killing of his mother. So this came up like 9 months ago, and no one really believed it. And Melly's mom came out and said he did not do that and shit. But apparently, this guy's saying there's evidence in his phone that he did do that, which is fucking wild. We don't know it's true because we don't see the text messages and we don't know the full context. All right. So 2 things came up: is text messages on Melly's phone one about apparently being threatened by Sakchaser and Juvie, which, holy shit. I mean, people have been saying that for years. I just find it weird that they were threatening him and then they were hanging out still in the studio that day. Like, it just makes no sense to me why he would still be around them if they were threatening him like that, to be honest, but strange. And then the hit on his mom is also a fucking crazy thing to point out as well, but we don't have the messages specifically, but I'm sure we'll see them in the trial at some point. I'll keep covering that next week, so if you're new to my channel, subscribe right now. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Love you guys. Thanks for the support.